goes by This is a Public Service on YouTube.
This is a public service.
This is a public service.
We got everybody? Okay, good morning, everyone. My name is Doug Metcalf. I'm the judge of Division 16. We're here today to select people to sit on the grand jury, and it will be the 344th grand jury here in Pima County. I'll show the presence of the panel, as well as Deputy County Attorney Josh Mosier, who's sitting up here at the witness stand this morning. So, you all just came in here. The first thing we're going to do is have you all stand up, and the clerk will swear you in. So everyone that's here, please stand up.
Do you and each of you solemnly swear or affirm that you will true answers make to all questions touching your qualifications to serve as grand jurors in this court, so help you God, or under the pain and penalties of perjury?
Yes.
All right, have a seat, everybody. Again, we're here today to select folks to sit on the grand jury. As you'll note, we have a court reporter, Debbie Moore, who's taking down every word that's said. So when I'm asking you questions, if you could please speak up and give us your name so she can take down everything that is said. The purpose of the grand jury selection process is to pick 20 folks to serve on the grand jury. At a later date, 4 you will be designated as alternate grand jurors. The call to grand jury service does not come very often. Some people are never called. We believe it's an honor and a privilege to be selected. Those who serve will become part of the judicial branch of our government and contribute to our democratic system and the preservation of our system of justice. I hope you take pride and pleasure in performing the service. The law defines grand jury as a body of the required number of qualified persons who are duly convened and impaneled by the presiding judge of the Superior Court and who are sworn to inquire into public offenses that may be tried within the county, including certain corrupt or willful misconduct in the office of public officials. Trial jurors decide verdicts of guilty or not guilty in criminal trials. They return verdicts for money in contract, personal injury, and other civil trials. A grand jury is different. It does not try cases. It does not hear all the evidence that might be presented at a criminal trial. Its primary function is to investigate alleged criminal conduct and decide whether there is enough evidence to bring persons to trial. Each grand juror will serve until discharged by the court or replaced by an alternate grand juror. Each alternate grand juror will serve only if designated to replace one of the 16 members of the grand jury. By law, your terms as grand jurors will be 4 months. 4 months or 3 months?
It's normally 4 months, but this particular grand jury will only be serving just maybe a little bit less than 3 months.
Okay. This period could be extended if necessary to conclude a specific grand jury inquiry begun before the end of the normal 3-month period. Normally, we'll meet 2 days a week, and the schedule is for Tuesdays and Fridays. Is that correct?
That's right, every Tuesday and Friday.
All right. And it will first hear cases on Friday, September 5th, and end on November 25th. Does that sound right?
That's right, Your Honor.
All right. You will receive training during orientation, which lasts the next 6 days or so. While you are serving on the Pima County Grand Jury, none of you will be selected to serve on a trial jury in this county. Your service as grand jurors will not require you that you be sequestered or locked up. You will normally begin at 9 a.m. in the morning and continue until the day's business concludes, usually before 3:30, but no later than 5 p.m. This is true for orientation days as well. There may be times when you will begin as early as 8 or 8:30 in the morning. If so, you'll be notified in advance of any change in start time. You will not be excused from the grand jury service for slight or trivial reasons. Loss of income alone is not an adequate reason. Excuses for reasons of health are not sufficient unless they are substantial. Excuses for undue hardship relating to employment, business, or personal matters will be considered. Please pay close attention to this following statute that may help you answer questions about your service. Under Arizona law, an employer shall not refuse to permit an employee to take a leave of absence from employment to serve as a juror. No employer may dismiss or in any way penalize any employee for serving as a grand juror or trial juror, provided, however, that an employer shall not be required to compensate an employee when the employee is absent from employment because of jury service. Absences from employment shall not affect vacation rights which employees otherwise have. An employee shall not lose seniority. Upon return to employment, the employee shall be returned to the previous position or to a higher position commensurate with the ability and experience as seniority and precedence would ordinarily entitle him or her. There is a criminal penalty for violating this law. The following questions deal with basic qualifications, vacations, and effects on employment. If any of you have a yes answer or anything to say, please raise your hand and state your name for the reporter so that the record will reflect who spoke. Okay, so the way this works is I ask the questions of those of you up here. There's 20 of you up here. If I excuse one of you, then one of you from the audience will be selected in your numerical order to replace that person. So I'll ask you if you have any yes answers to the questions I've asked already. So those of you up here in the box have been tentatively selected to be seated on the grand jury. The members of this panel who are in the back should listen carefully to all the questions. It may be necessary to substitute one or more of you for those on the panel. Okay, the first one is the big question. Would any member of the panel experience an undue financial or personal hardship as a result of being impaneled on the grand jury with the time requirements previously set forth? And let me just have Mr. Mosier once again just kind of go over the schedule so that everyone's clear about that.
So the schedule will be, so you would end a little bit early today if you were selected, so probably around noon or maybe early in the afternoon. But then you would come back tomorrow, August 21st, for orientation. That's at 8 o'clock. We schedule that 8 to 5, but you would probably be out by 3 o'clock most of these days. So it's tomorrow for, when I say orientation, we provide classes and instruction on what grand jury is, what your responsibilities are going to be, what some of the laws are. So we provide you all that before you hear cases. So there's a number of dates we do that. So it's going to be tomorrow starting at 8, and then Monday, August 25th, Tuesday, August 26th, Wednesday, August 27th. So Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday next week starting at 9. And then Friday, September 5th, which is the following week, at 8:30. That would be your first start date that you would hear cases. And then it would be every Tuesday and Friday since that point. So it's every Tuesday and Friday, 8:30. We say to 5 o'clock. Sometimes you're out at noon. Sometimes you're out at 2. Normally like 2 or 3 would be the normal times you would end. So it's going to be from September 5th to November 25th. The week of Thanksgiving.
Okay, and just a little bit more about how the grand jury operates. The purpose of the grand jury is that the state, when they want to charge someone with a criminal offense, has to present the case to the grand jury, and the grand jury determines whether there's probable cause. So it's a protection and a control against the government having too much power. That the prosecutor has usually a detective present the case to the grand jury, and the grand jury gets to ask questions, and then you vote on whether there's probable cause to issue the indictment. And that's so that the power to bring someone to trial for a crime is not vested solely in the prosecutor, but it has to pass the judgment of members of the community. So it's a very important protection for people in the community. And I'd have to say it's also very interesting because you have all these detectives come up describing these cases, and it's the full gamut of cases from, thefts, sexual assault, child molestation, murder, arson, drug offenses, theft of vehicles, all those kind of cases. And so you get real insight into how the criminal justice system works here in Pima County. So for those of you who can, I will promise you that you'll find it a very rewarding experience and very interesting experience. And of course, you get to ask questions of the detectives if you think there's a flaw in their case, and make the decision whether the defendant will be held over to have to be tried in the Superior Court. Okay, with that background, let's start talking about people who have a conflict that would make it difficult for them to serve. And we're going to start in the back row. So raise your hand if you, let's see, Miss Bloom? Yes, what's your conflict?
I'm currently the only one working full-time in my household.
Okay.
It would put me at, I would also only get 10 days paid by work.
Okay. All right, and then next in the back row, let's see, Miss Fanistriel? Speak up.
Just my work doesn't have a program to pay.
Hold on, can you get the microphone? Like, I can't hear her. Okay.
Just I spoke with my work about getting the pay program. They don't have anything for that. And then it's also just like deadline based. So if I'm here 2 days, I'll be there on the weekend to make it up, to get done.
Okay. All right, next in the back row, Mr. Hollingsworth. Let's see, before that, Ms. Streef.
I just currently, I'm unemployed, but we just offered a position, but it's out of town. And I start the new job next week, so it'll be difficult with the commute.
Okay. All right, next in the back row,
Good morning, Your Honor.
Mr. Hollingsworth.
Thank you, Your Honor. I'm actually a high school teacher. I have 180 students that I manage, and I believe in civic duty and civic service. I was a former Peace Corps volunteer, but I won't go too long, Your Honor. Serving on a grand jury would take a significant amount of time away from instruction for my students, and I can't afford that time for my students, and I think my students would not have the proper instruction or curriculum if I were to serve on a grand jury, and I think that would be very detrimental to the community that I am a teacher in. Thank you, Your Honor.
Okay, next in the back row. Let's see, all the way to the end, Mr. Lundquist.
Hi there. I'm self-employed. I have a very small real estate construction company, and I really don't have the ability. I don't have a staff to like do payroll and run my people, so I'm kind of it.
Okay.
This would be kind of a collision course or disaster for my business. So.
All right. Paula, can you hit the white noise real quick? Okay, so I'll excuse those of you who have a conflict. I'll read your names off, then you can get up and leave, and you'll be done. And then we'll call the next people to up in the box, and then I'll go through the other 2 rows. So, Miss Bloom and Miss Fanistriel, Miss Streef, Mr. Hollingsworth, and Mr. Lundquist. I'll excuse all of you, so you're all excused. And then after you get up and walk off, we'll get the next folks in line there. Okay, go ahead and call the folks for that back row.
Mary Reinhardt, Mary Adams, John McNabb, Andrea Valenzuela, and Brandy Boyd.
All right, let's just stick on the back row. I think that might be the easiest way to do it. So of the folks that were just seated, anything about the schedule make it difficult for you to serve? So let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4. Are you Miss Valenzuela? Okay, Miss Valenzuela, what's your conflict?
My conflict is I work full-time and I do have 2 children. I'm a single mom, so I guess my only question is if I'm out of here by 3 o'clock to pick them up from the school bus, if that's ideal, then I'm okay to stay. But
Okay. Mr. Mosher, I think maybe you're not quite done always by 3 o'clock. Is that?
It's true. So sometimes we are done by 3 o'clock. Usually we are, but I can never guarantee that. There will be some days where it will be after 3 o'clock.
So that make it difficult. You have to, what time do you pick up your kids?
you have to be at the bus stop by 3:30, otherwise they will have to walk by themselves home and I have to unlock the door for them. So I don't really have anybody else that.
All right. I'll excuse you, Miss Valenzuela. The next person in that position.
Mackenzie Gallagher.
All right. Anybody else in the back row has a conflict? Let's see. Miss Reinhardt.
I am severely claustrophobic and I can't sit here for much longer.
Okay.
And I have no meat on my body and it's hard for me to sit at too long periods of time.
Okay. I'll excuse you, Miss Reinhardt. Next person.
Federico Ronquillo.
Excuse me.
All right. Still focused on the back row. Who else? Let's see. Number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Miss Gallagher.
Yes, sir. I am self-employed. I provide full care to my disabled nephews. They are in school. They do get out at 1, so I would need to go and pick them up. There's nobody else to care for them. I am the only care that he has, unfortunately.
Okay. All right. I'll excuse you, Miss Gallagher. Next. Yep. Next person.
Thomas Hannah.
Okay. Again, focus on the back row. Anybody? Yes, Mr. Ronquillo.
Yes, sir. Good morning. Yeah, I just went to part-time work so I could help take care of both my sisters, for health-wise, and taking care of myself because I'm a diabetic.
So would you take care of your sisters during the time that you would otherwise be here? Is that
all the time as much as possible. I'm only working 3 days a week now,
okay?
so I could to help take care of family myself.
Okay. I'll excuse you. Next person.
Marilyn Fritz.
Okay. In the back row. Yes. Let's see, Mr. Hanna.
I'm a physician gastroenterologist. My schedule is booked out for the next 3 months between procedures and seeing patients. On top of that, I take calls at the emergency room at Tucson Medical Center, so it's unpredictable and it's very hard to accommodate all those.
All right. I'll excuse you. Thank you, Dr. Hanna. Next person.
Helena Chap.
All right. Anybody else in the back row? Yes, Ms. Fritz with the D-backs.
I
Good.
have got 3 scheduled trips. The first one is September 22nd when I'm having my first grandchild
Okay.
is due to be born. So that's in Virginia. And then the week of November 30th or 3rd and the week of December 8th.
When you're going to be in Virginia, is it going to be for an extended period or just for a weekend?
The baby's due on the 25th, so
Okay.
it's the first baby, so I don't know how long
Okay.
it's going to open ended.
Josh, what do you think about that?
I mean, usually when, people have lives and, we understand that and they have trips. And so we generally ask if there's going to be a couple weeks you're out, like 4, maybe 5 sessions of the grand jury. We have that built into, the process. But if it's going to be more than that, then that could be problematic because then other grand jurors are going to have to start picking up the slack. So do you think you might be out from September 5th to November 25th more than 4 or 5 days? But understanding it's every Tuesday and Friday.
Right, no, I don't know if the baby's, it's a first baby, so they tend to be late, so I can't even go with that. But the other 2 trips are already paid for, those are vacations.
Okay. Yeah, I think I'll excuse you, Ms. Fritz, all right? All right. Next person on the list.
Lydia Ratana.
All right, anybody in the back row? Yes, let's see, Miss McNabb? Or is it, no, Miss Chap? Yes, all right. Sorry about that.
I am the sole caregiver for my husband who has had 3 strokes and bypass. The strokes, he became blind with cognitive disabilities now. Because of that, I am the sole income earner as well.
All right, I'll excuse you, Miss Chap, sorry to hear that. Let's go to the next person.
Stephanie Caddy.
Yes, I'm coming. Wait, Sibert.
All right, back row still. Yes, Miss Ratana?
Yes, I have 4 kids under the age of 19 that they depend on me to take them to school. I even do my lunches at work around to picking up from school and then taking them home. And then they have football practice after. I have 2 in high school, 1 in middle school, and 1 at the U of A. So she's more dependable on her own, but makes it a little difficult. My husband has a full-time job and he works like 80 hours a week, so it's hard for him to.
Okay, all right, Ms. Ratana, I'll excuse you, thank you. Next person on the list.
Layla Benitez.
All right, let's see, Miss Katie.
Yes, I'm seriously mentally ill, and I have anxiety issues and trouble making my own decisions and stuff. I was hoping to be excused.
I'll excuse you. Next person.
Dane Bassett.
All right, still in the back row. Yes, that seat number 5 is called the hot seat. It's like we're not gonna fill it. Mr. Vasic.
I'm a professor at the University of Arizona. I'm teaching a class on Fridays, in other days too. I have several grants, federal grants, and have 4 trips, business trips that are part of deliverables of these grants. One is in Australia, which is from 27th of September to October 8th. And there are several other trips that I can.
Okay. I'll excuse you, Mr. Vasic. Thank you. Next person.
Cynthia Encinas.
I work in healthcare, and I work on Tuesdays and Fridays, and I work on 12-hour shifts. And Tuesdays and Fridays, and I work on 12-hour shifts. And I did ask my work if they could change my schedule, and they will, but I work those days for the orientations as well, so I won't, and of course, I stutter, and I get very nervous too. So I like to, and then I work 2 jobs at that time right now, so I think it'll be really conflict on my.
Okay. The job is really when you're mainly listening to the testimony, so that the stutter wouldn't be. If you have a difficult time asking questions, that's not really a problem. But tell me a little bit more about your schedule.
I work from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. So I work 12 hours on Tuesdays and Fridays, and then I did ask my work if they could change my work schedule, and they will. But on those orientations days, it just would just really reflect my work schedule as well.
How often do you have orientation day? Is that for new people coming in that you teach the new people?
Our orientation for grand jury.
Okay.
Tomorrow and next week. Yeah.
Okay. So it'd be difficult for you to meet those.
Yeah, to work. Yeah.
All right, I'll excuse you, Ms. Boyd. Next person.
Robert Ollinger.
Yeah, you can just sit right there. That's perfect.
Okay.
All right, yeah. Unfortunately, the courthouse was built before the Americans with Disabilities Act, so it's not particularly accessible, unfortunately, but that's a great spot for you. Okay, anybody else in the back row? Oh boy, so we're still going here. Ms. Benitez, what's your conflict?
Sir, so my significant other is a firefighter, and he is gone from 1 to 72 hours. And my son, at times, we have to take him to the hospital because he needs breathing treatments, and I am the only one at home who can take them, just because we don't have that much family support.
Okay, how old is your son?
He's a year and a half.
Okay. I'll excuse you. Next person.
Joanne Coda.
All right, staying in the back row. Miss Encinas. All right, we're excusing Miss Encinas. Okay, next.
Melissa Harrison.
Okay, still on the back row. Let's see, Miss Coda.
Scheduled to have surgery, which will require me to be out maybe 2 to 3 weeks, if not longer. My work will pay me for being here, but I don't know about the time off for my surgery.
When is that scheduled?
Well, I didn't schedule it because I had to be here today.
Okay.
So I told him I would call him to schedule it.
And you'll think it'll be this during this between now and November?
Probably they want to do it as soon as they can.
Okay.
I called, I asked them if I could bring paperwork, but they said to let you know when I got here.
Okay.
Sure.
So you think you'll be out 2 or 3 weeks?
That's what they said the recovery time would be.
Okay. The only reason we're hesitating a little bit is that we have more people on the grand jury than we need each day. So if you're gone for a couple of weeks, then there'll be other people available. Mr. Mosier, what do you think?
I mean, 2 to 3 weeks. I mean, we should be able to absorb that.
Okay.
If it's longer, then we can't do that. But 2 to 3 weeks.
What do you think?
I won't know until
Yeah.
after I have the surgery.
Yeah, I'm going to excuse you, Ms. Code. I just it's pretty close to being out too long. And I'm sorry to hear about your surgery. I hope it goes well for you. Okay. All right.
Daisy Dieterman.
Okay, still focus on the back row. Anybody? Yes. Ms. Dieterman.
So I'm an incoming freshman at the U of A. So I'm a full-time student and then I'm doing part-time in food service. And I have a really full schedule. Like I have school 5 days a week and then I'm working 5 days a week. And then I think I have like a majority of my classes on Tuesdays and I have like chemistry labs every single week, and I don't think those, like, you can't really get those back and like the experience back. And I also have a scholarship, but to keep that, I have to have a 3.0 still, and I don't know, like, especially with labs and chemistry, and I have like 4 of my 6 classes on those days. I just like don't know if I can balance that and then like.
Okay, I'll excuse you, Ms. Dieterman. All right, thank you. Next person.
Morgan Galarza.
Okay, Ms. Harrison, I think you raised your hand.
Yeah, I live alone. I pay the bills myself. I don't have PTO at my job. So like just me missing today, I'm probably not gonna make rent. So I don't know how to get paid out $12 a day.
Right, right. So you're an hourly employee, and if you don't work and you can't rearrange your schedule around this. Okay, I'll excuse you, Ms. Harrison. Next person.
Tony Williams.
All right, in the back row, Miss Galarza.
I'm a kindergarten teacher, and I have several high-need students with IEPs that I think would have a very difficult time by missing 2 days a week. I also tutor 3 days a week and signed up to teach professional development once a week.
Okay, I'll excuse you. Next person.
Kristen Falcon.
Jessica, do you have any more of these? Okay, on the back row, yes, Mr. Williams.
I'm a sole proprietor. I run my own company. I don't have anybody that can cover what I do. I'm a contractor. I physically have to do the work to get paid. If I'm not there to do the work, I don't get paid.
Okay.
I don't have any fallback for that. I've got 2 kids in college.
Okay. All right, Mr. Williams, I'll excuse you. Next person. Oh, let's go to the next person.
Edward Hall.
Okay, the back row. Yes, Miss Falcon.
Yes.
Speak up. I can hear you.
Can I post your bench?
Sure. Okay, anybody else in the back row? All right, we've graduated. Oh, let's see, Mr. Olinger.
Yes, so I'm not asking to be excused, but since I am a diabetic, I just worry about a low blood sugar.
And can you bring food in with you?
I would just need to have juice like I do today.
Okay.
Is it okay if I have
Yeah.
juice?
Yeah.
Bring in for grand jury service. We encourage you to bring in food, drink, snacks,
Absolutely.
anything like that.
Service,
Yeah, there's break rooms. Yeah.
And I'll tell you, it's you won't come back here. It'll be over in the county attorney's building, which is the legal services building that's on Stone. It's a big, tall building. And there's a whole floor, and there are tables, And like, it's like 2-person per table. There's a lot of space over there. And, yes, so we did that during COVID, so we had less people coming into the courthouse, and we just continued with that, and it's worked out really well. So you can bring all that stuff in with you. And you're just sitting there listening to people.
Great,
It's not like being in court, like being in here, okay?
Okay, I just didn't want to
No,
interrupt anything.
yeah, that's a good question. And the same thing, if like you have back problems or something, you can get up and walk around, stretch your back and stuff. It's not like you're sitting, it's not as formal as being in trial. Okay, I think we're going to go now to the middle row. And you guys have all been very, very patient. People in the middle row who have a conflict make it very difficult for them to serve. Let's see. Miss Giason?
Guyson. I know, it's a hard thing to pronounce. It's French. My conflict is I'm a single mom, and I'm the full-time income person, and I have a 2-year-old. He has severe asthma. I'm also very mentally unstable. My brother was unfortunately brutally murdered last November, and since that November, I've lost 8 more people to gun violence. So I'm mentally not okay. I wouldn't be the best judgment for your jury. Along with me working full-time, they wouldn't give me that time off, and if I miss work, I will lose his daycare, because I pay for daycare as well, and I will lose my house that I live in, will become homeless.
Okay. And it's pronounced
Guyson. Or
Guyson?
you can say Giason if you want to be fancy.
Miss Guyson, I'll excuse you. The next person.
Thank you. I do appreciate you, Your Honor. Have
All
a
right.
good rest of your day.
Amanda Baird.
Okay. All right, we're on the middle row. Anybody else in the middle row? Let's see. Miss Meneses, is it? Yeah. What's your conflict?
I have an upcoming surgery on September 3rd.
Okay.
At 5 in the morning, and I will not be able to drive for about 8 weeks.
Oh, okay. All right, I'll excuse you. Next person.
Dylan Souza.
All right, focused on the middle row. Anybody else? Yes, Miss Chudakis, is it?
Yeah, I'm a physician. I'm a hospitalist at TMC. So looking at the schedule, I could probably make it to about half of these sessions, and then I'd have to just rearrange my schedule, which would be not totally impossible, but pretty difficult. Looking at Tuesdays and Fridays, I'm probably working through November for about 50% of them. I don't know if that's.
Okay, and they can't provide coverage for you?
We could. I mean, I think it would just be a hardship for the group. Tonight, I'm actually working on call in the hospital, so tomorrow, the first training day, I'd be post call.
Okay.
So.
All right, Mr. Mosier?
I don't have an objection.
Okay, thank you very much, Doctor. I'll excuse you. Next person.
Tracy Hervey.
Okay, middle row. Anybody else? Got a couple more here. Miss Baird.
Yes. So I'm currently 19 weeks pregnant right now. So, and my work taking 2 days a week off, they won't pay for it, and I don't have enough PTO to cover it. So I'm just a little bit nervous about saving for a baby that's due in January. So I'm.
Okay. So you normally would work Tuesday, Fridays? Is that?
Yeah, I work Monday through Friday with children with autism. We're only open Monday through Friday, so I can't like make up my hours on the weekends or like extend them.
And they won't pay you for being here?
No.
Okay, I'll excuse you.
Leanne Rohr.
All right, middle row question. Let's see. We'll go down to the end here. Mr. Is it Harvey?
Hervey, yes, sir.
Hervey, yes.
I'm currently the installation deployment officer at Davis Air Force Base. I have delegated authority from the wing commander to deploy forces from the base. We currently have 3 aviation movements upcoming by November. I have deployed out 800 some plus people
by November with one reception of 600 plus.
Okay, and is there somebody who can cover for you?
Not right now, sir.
Okay, I'll excuse you. All right, next.
Monique Sains Nito.
All right, someone else in the middle row. We have some other hands raised. Let's see, Ms. Thrower.
I don't know if this will be an issue, but the second week of September, my husband's going to talk to a doctor about potentially scheduling surgery on both of his feet. I'm the only person who can care for him, but I probably won't be able, depending on when the surgery is scheduled for, I may not be able to attend the first few sessions just to take care of him and establish someone to cover while I'm here.
What do you think?
We can deal with that.
Okay. I think again we have extra people, and so if you're out for those, I think that they can accommodate you. Okay. All right. In the middle row, let's see, Mr. Souza.
Yeah, my schedule can generally accommodate this. I just will be at a wedding on September 5th, so I will miss one of the orientation days. As long as that's okay, then I should be able to.
Yeah, the first day is, so I think I have it right here. September 5th is the first day to hear cases. The other important things that happen that day is the grand jury amongst themselves selects who the foreperson is, who the bailiff is, who the clerk is, and then more importantly, who are the 4 alternates. So if you're okay not trying to vie for any of those positions on the grand jury, you should be all right on September 5th.
Yeah. Okay, good. All right. Anybody else in the middle row? Yes, Miss Sains Nito.
So I operate a Getting Foundation, so it's usually just me during the orientation. I know that attendance is required, so I was wondering if I can't find coverage for the Guinea Pig Sanctuary, would I be excused?
Well, we don't want someone who asks to be let off after this process starts. So it's kind of need to know now. So you don't. Are there other people who volunteer? Is it a volunteer or a paid position?
It's a paid position.
Okay.
I operate the Tucson location.
Uh-huh.
So I only have one other worker and they're a part-timer.
Okay.
So I can work something out.
Okay.
To be a part of this experience. So.
And as Mr. Mosier said, if you have to miss a couple of times during the time, it's okay. It's just you can't be gone for huge amounts of time. Okay? All right. I think anybody else in the middle row? Okay, let's go to the front row. Yes, Mr. Romero. Sure. All right, well, I'm going to excuse Mr. Romero. Next person.
Melissa Sonyer.
All right, again, focus on the front row. Anybody else? Let's see, Miss Curiel?
Yes.
Yes.
I have a conflict with the time frame.
Okay.
I am currently employed for the Department of Defense, and I audit contracts, and I'm currently, the current audit that I'm leading, and we've just recently been understaffed, and so that is going to end in October. And so although it sounds interesting, I would like to participate. However, because of the understaffing in federal agency, I just won't be able to do that.
So is there there's no one else that could step into that role and work on that while you're over here?
My supervisor to tell me no.
So your supervisor is trying to not be cooperative with the criminal justice system? Is that what you're saying? For the United States government? That's a little shocking to me. I'd like to have that person in here to question them. I bet they would have a very different opinion if they had to show up here and say that. I'll excuse you, Ms. Curiel. I don't want you to be punished for your boss's lack of interest in our criminal justice system. All right. Next person.
Tyler Bartel.
Okay, still focus on the front row. Mr. Bartel.
So I've already spoken with my boss, and he said that I wouldn't be getting paid for the days that I'm in here. And with me being the sole provider for myself and my 2 children, I wouldn't be able to afford it.
Where do you work?
I work with Hensley Beverage and Co.
They're not going to pay for you. Is it a big, Hensley, is that a big beverage company here?
So they distribute like Budweiser, Bud Light, those types of beers. But I've asked, and he said that it would not be covered.
Wow. It's a little shocking to me as well. That's a very large company here in town. Mr. Mosher, what do you think?
Are you the, how would that financially impact your household?
So I wouldn't be able to cover rent. I'm barely covering it now. My children and mom actually just got food stamps to cover some food for the children because we've been struggling.
All right, I'll excuse you, Mr. Bartel.
Michael Chappelle.
All right, front row. Somebody else? Let's see, Mr. Chappelle.
Yes, Your Honor. I actually am a provider for veterans and their families for very specific outdoor events. The schedule's already planned for the fall. If I'm not there and I don't show up, the events don't happen, and they're already signed up for these events.
And we've gone through this with other people that they have certain conflicts for a few days. How many days would you be?
So I do 2 typically a month,
Mhm.
beginning next month, and they range, basically between 4 to 5 days apiece, starting usually on a Wednesday or Thursday through the weekend, ending on a Monday or a Sunday.
Okay. All right, I'll excuse you, Mr. Chevelle. Now, next person. Yep, next person on the list.
Stephen Anderson. Or Stephen.
Thanks.
Okay, still on the front row. Anybody else in the front row? All right, we're making progress here. Oh, let's see, Mr. Bejarano. Yeah, come up.
Diana Margaret.
Okay, anybody else in the front row? All right, we're making progress. Oh, I thought we were done. All right, Miss Bargett.
My only concern is Fridays, because I do pick up my kids and I don't have anybody else who can. I know the thing came up about like being off around 3-ish. What's the latest you think usually?
So it's hard to predict. Every day you will not know when it will be done until you show up that morning. So like 8:30 in the morning, you'll see the calendar, and it could be you're done at noon. It could be that we're going to be scheduled to be done at 2. It's very rare that we'll go to 5. It may happen 1, maybe 0 times actually, but it can happen. And so I can't tell you with any like this is a lawyer answer, right? Like I'm not actually giving you an answer. So, so I don't. It just depends. How about that?
Yeah, it's not frequent, but it's possible. So how old are your kids?
9 and 12.
Is there anybody else who could pick them up if you're running late?
On Fridays, no.
Uh-huh. What time do they get out?
So the thing is, so they get out at 3, but they walk, like everybody in the school walks to this nearby little like shopping center, and I pick them up.
Is that at Doolin?
Sorry?
Is it at Doolin?
No.
No, Doolin. Okay, my wife would pick up my kids across the street from Doolin, so I was wondering. Okay. What school is it?
Legacy.
Okay.
Yeah. And it's just, I mean, they usually wait inside the store, and other kids do, but I don't know like
Yeah.
how long they can be there.
Right. I'll excuse you. Next person on the list.
Brianna Robinson.
Okay. Anybody else in the front row? All right. I think so. I've gone through all 3 rows, and I think I've covered everybody. Anybody still think they have a conflict? All right. Thank you very much. Yes. Let's see. You're Miss Ikua. Okay.
You're close enough. I appreciate it. I'm the only full-time provider. I do have my husband and my dog to care for. She has severe separation anxiety, and he works in the mornings, and I cover that morning. And then he gets off in the afternoon, and that's when I go there. So she has like a grace period between 1 and 4 where she can handle it. Anything after that or before that, he will tear the house out.
So you normally take care of the dog from 1 to 4?
Yes, and then I would ask my neighbors, but they do work in the morning when they're off in the afternoons.
Uh-huh.
Just the mornings that it won't work. You can ask about the dog. It's honestly a trick.
Just about your schedule. So, the schedule is 8:30 to 5. It's doubtful that you'll go to 5, but possible. 5, but possible. You think every Tuesday and Friday. Do you think the dog can manage, or you can manage it during that period of time?
So my husband goes into work at 10, and then this starts at 8, right? So she'll be alone from when he goes into work at 10, from when I get off to usually you say around 3, so that's 5 hours, 5 to 6 hours probably. She can't last more than the 3 that I give her from 1 to 4, because that's when I go into at 1.
Well, I think we have to excuse her. No, I'll excuse you. Next person.
Ms. Hernandez Sanchez.
All right. Anybody else raising their hand? Yes, Miss Hernandez Sanchez.
I just called before my work, because the orientation days, I can maybe make 2 of them at a 5, but I can also try to see if someone can cover like my shifts. But I called in and no one answered, so I'm not too sure.
You called into your office to see if someone could cover for you, and they didn't get back to you? Where do you work?
I just work at Target.
At where?
At Target?
Oh, Target. I bet Target can find someone to cover for you.
No, that's why I'm like maybe, but I'm not too sure.
Yeah, they will. Okay. All right. We can also provide you a letter that you're in grand jury service, and so it's a very large corporation, and I'm sure they will accommodate you. Okay. All right. Okay. I think we got everybody. No other hands raised. Let's go on to some more questions. There are a couple of requirements that you have to meet, and we ask that before you're called in here, so I think there should not be any problems, but I just have to make sure. So is there anyone who's not a citizen of the United States? Is there anyone who's not a resident of Pima County? Is there anyone who's less than 18 years of age? Has anyone been convicted of a felony and not had their civil rights restored? Has anyone been adjudicated as an incapacitated person, mentally incompetent or insane? Does anyone have a mental illness that would affect their ability to serve as a grand juror? Does anyone not read or understand English fluently? Does anyone have a physical condition that would keep them from being able to sit for long periods of time? And again, it's not as formal as sitting here. You can get up and stand up if you have a stiff back or something, so that's usually not a problem. Does anyone have a hearing problem? Yes, let's see, you are Mr. McNabb, okay?
Yeah, pretty severe tonight's tinnitus.
All right. Have you been able to hear what's going on today?
Parts of it.
Okay. They do have a microphone, right, Mr. Mosier?
Yeah, everyone has the witness who would testify, the foreperson, and then the county attorney, the people who are going to be involved in presenting the case to you will have the microphones. Also, like and it happens sometimes with jurors who do have some hearing issues. If they miss something, just raise your hand and say, "Hey, can you repeat that again?" It's not a big deal. It does happen, and we accommodate that. It's normal.
And you can sit up in front too, right?
Yeah, and they also provide like hearing devices, but although I don't know how that would work with your condition. Yeah.
Do you think you'd be all right?
Well, it's just certain frequencies really disappear basically.
Okay. Well, it's pretty quiet in there, so there's only, like me right now, there's only one person speaking.
Pretty much hear most of what you're saying.
Yeah, and
She was talking about, I guess she said her dog.
Yeah.
I didn't know what she was saying.
Yeah. So again, there's only one person speaking. You can sit up in front, and they are using microphones, so I think you'll be all right. And again, you can just say, "Hey, I didn't hear that. Could you repeat it?" It's again, when you're there, it's not like being in a trial. It's not as formal as being in a trial. Well, we can't have jurors jumping up and down all the time, but at the grand jury, it's okay to say, I just can't hear that. So, all right. Anybody else have a hearing issue? I think we've kind of covered this with the questions we've asked already, but would absence from your job seriously affect any public health, safety, or interest? And I think we had some physicians who would have said yes to that, and we've excused them. And I think we've also covered this. Do you have any vacation plans for more than 2 weeks during the next 3 months that you cannot change? All right. So there's also a requirement that persons not be biased or prejudiced in favor or against any of the parties that would appear before you. So we'll ask some more specific questions, but just as a general question, is there somebody who doesn't think they could be fair to the people who are presented to you at the grand jury? Yes, Mr. Is it Lorgy?
Lorgy.
Lorge?
Yeah, I mean, I was raised with my father who did 30 years in the FBI.
Okay.
He did all white collar crime. I don't know if anything like that comes up. I could be.
There's actually very little white collar crime that's generally prosecuted by the Attorney General's office, and they have a separate grand jury. Mr. Mosier, is that correct?
That's true. And additionally, at the end of every session, and part of the instruction and orientation you'll have is if there's a case that you're sitting and you're listening to the testimony and you feel that you can't be fair and impartial to this particular accused or to the law enforcement who put together the investigation, you can always, without saying why, get up and walk out of the room. So we have that. It happens in grand jury. We don't ask the reason why, so we don't know why people feel that they can't be fair and impartial. Maybe they know the accused or one of the witnesses. Maybe it's just not the case for them. They could be fair on. But we ask that at every single presentation, and we drill that into you. And so we ask grand jurors to be fair and impartial.
You think you'd be okay?
I'd give it a shot.
Okay. Well, I just want to be, again, the crimes that are presented to the grand jury are what are called common law or malum and se crimes, things that are inherently criminal. Assault, theft, robbery, sexual assault, arson, drug offenses, murder, aggravated assault, things like that. So those are the kind of cases.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. You think you'd be all right?
Yeah, I can do it.
Okay.
And one other thing, Your Honor, they can be complicated cases with long fact patterns and lots of people involved, or they could be just your run-of-the-mill, like it's like a 5 to 10 minute presentation. So anything and everything in between.
Yeah, we'll get like drug conspiracy cases, things like that, or some fraud cases with like people stealing someone's credit card and using it, those kind of things. Okay. And this leads into our next question. Does anyone have close friends or family members who are employed as law enforcement? That would both be local law enforcement, like the Tucson Police Department, the Sheriff's Department, or Homeland Security, or Border Patrol, or U.S. Marshals, or FBI. Anybody? And you've already answered, Mr. Lorge. Anybody else? Yes. Let's see. You're Mr. Hall. Is that right? Okay.
My son-in-law has a brother who works for Pima County Sheriff's Department. He's a deputy.
Okay. All right.
Cody Harris.
Do you think now, if he were presenting, you'd want to recuse yourself for that presentation? But other than that, do you think anything about having a relative who's a law enforcement officer make it hard for you to be a fair and impartial juror?
I don't think so.
Okay. And again, if that gentleman showed up and was testifying, you go, oh, I know him, and I'll just excuse myself for that presentation. Okay. Let's see, Ms. Sanchez. Okay, you're okay? All right. Yes. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2. Mr. Greer.
My sister's husband is a member of the Tucson Police Department.
Okay. And what do you know what he does there?
I think he's a squad.
Squad. Okay. Anything about that would be make it difficult for you to serve as a fair and impartial juror. Okay. Same thing. If that person was there to testify as to a case, you would just recuse yourself as to that presentation. All right. Anybody else? Law enforcement officers will frequently testify at grand jury proceedings. They are not presumed to be any more or less credible than any other witness based solely on their status as a law enforcement person. Is there anyone who would give greater or lesser weight to the testimony of a law enforcement officer merely because they are a law enforcement officer? Yes, Mr. Lorge.
Yeah, I'm going to favor the law enforcement 100%.
Okay. So, Mr. Mosher, what do you think?
How grand jury typically works is if law enforcement will gather together evidence and they will present the case. They'll summarize the case. They'll say, witness A said this, witness B said this. They won't make any credibility determinations. They'll just regurgitate, here's what this person told law enforcement. Now, there are times where law enforcement officers who testify, or they're gathering testimony from other law enforcement officers who will have witnessed, something that will happen, and they'll provide that. And so what we ask grand jurors to do is not just inherently say, they must be being truthful, but to consider the testimony, including the summaries of events that the law enforcement gathers together in conjunction with all the other evidence and testimony itself. So, just because a law enforcement officer says, I saw this, doesn't mean that there couldn't be contradictory testimony or other evidence that might, negate that or maybe place it into context. Do you think that if that kind of presentation is provided to you, you sort of weigh that presentation and, do the normal kind of credibility assessment? Or do you think that just because a law enforcement officer said something happened, you're going to agree with that all the
I'm
time?
going to agree with that.
Okay.
Yeah, that's just how I was brought up.
Okay.
Okay. I think we need to excuse you. Mr. Lords, you're excused. Next person.
Javier Suarez.
All right, welcome, Mr. Suarez. We've asked a lot of questions. Do you have any yes answers?
None.
Okay, good. All right, let's go on to the next question. The cases are presented by the Pima County Attorney's Office. That's where Mr. Mosier works, and people from the prosecutor's office are the ones who present the case. Any of the members of the panel know anyone who worked for the Pima County Attorney's Office? Yes, Ms. Adams.
I don't actually know anybody, but I do work for the clerk of the Superior Court.
Okay.
So I do a lot of paperwork with them, but I don't know anybody particularly, so it wouldn't affect me anymore.
Okay, and given that you work for the court system, is there anything about that that would make it hard for you to be a fair and impartial grand juror? Great. All right. Yes, let's see, Mr. Gonzalez.
Did you say worked? Like my mom retired from Pima County Attorney's Office 20 years ago.
Okay, yeah, that wouldn't count probably. All right. And then let's see, we have Miss Beck, is it? Oh, yeah, absolutely. All right. Is there anyone on the panel who has ever studied law formally or had a relative or close friend who's a lawyer or who has attended law school? Yes, Mr. Goodall?
My cousin is a prosecuting attorney in
Okay.
another state.
In another state? Okay. Anything about that make it hard for you to be a fair and impartial juror?
I don't think so.
Okay. Again, the cases are presented by the prosecutor to the grand jury, and so they don't testify. They present the case and work with you all and the indictments or whatnot. But you think you'll be okay with that?
Yeah.
Okay.
And one more thing to add, you asked about studying law.
Uh-huh.
I've taken a high school class on law.
Okay.
But that's it.
Okay, that's a good thing to know. You'll be instructed on what Arizona law is for the elements of the offenses. And it's nice to have a background, but you would be able to follow the instructions as to what the law is in Arizona that were provided to you? Okay, all right. That seems like an obvious question, but that's really what the concern is, that the legislature has said what is a criminal offense in Arizona, and you're instructed on that, and you're obligated to follow those statutes. As anyone, and again, if anyone needs to come up and speak privately, you've seen we've had several folks do that. So if you or a close friend ever been arrested for anything other than a traffic violation? Anybody? Yes, let's see. Ms. Thrower?
Sorry, not that. It's actually for the previous
okay.
question.
Uh-huh.
I am friends with a corporate lawyer in New York. He's retired now.
Okay.
But he keeps going back to it. And then in California, I did take some high school and college classes for criminal justice.
Okay. And again, do you think you could, it's nice to have that background, but do you think you could follow the law as it exists currently in Arizona that's instructed to you? All right. All right. So getting back, if anyone here has ever been arrested for anything more serious than a traffic offense or a family member or a close friend? Yes, Mr. Suarez.
Yeah, I have close friends that got DUI.
Okay. And DUI cases are presented to the grand jury. A DUI by itself is a misdemeanor, but sometimes there are some felony DUIs, and there could be other charges associated with that are felonies that are presented to the grand jury. Is there anything about your friend's experience that would make it hard for you to be a fair and impartial juror?
No.
Okay. Who else we got? Let's see, Mr. Goodall.
A close friend was arrested for DUI.
Okay. Same question to you. Would affect your ability to be a fair and impartial juror?
I don't think think so.
Okay. All right. Who else? Let's see. Mr. Ollinger.
So my son-in-law was for a DUI.
Okay.
I would say I think he got a bad end of the deal, but I could absolutely be partial.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great. All right. Yes. Miss, is it Sonia? Uh-huh. Yeah. All right. Anybody else? Let's see. Miss Adams. Yes. All right. Anybody else? Okay. Has anyone been the victim of a crime? Any crime victims here? That's unusual. Oh, we have to. Miss Sains, Nito. Yes. All right. Any other crime victims? Oh, yes. Mr. Goodall.
Probably minor. I've had my vehicle broken into and items stolen from me.
Okay. That's something that that would be presented to the grand jury. Is there anything about that experience that make it difficult for you to serve as a fair and impartial grand juror?
Can you provide more context on that?
Sure. And again, we have more folks on the grand jury than we need for the quorum to vote. So if there's a particular case that is very triggering to you, you could be asked to be excused from that. You can sit out in the hallway without being presented. The question is, sometimes if you've been the victim of a crime, you may have either thought the criminal justice didn't treat you fairly and you're kind of biased against the criminal justice system in general, or there may be a situation where the facts are so similar to what happened to you that it's very triggering. It's hard for you to be impartial and listen to that. So that's kind of what the question. Do you think that your experience of having someone break into your car would make it difficult for you to judge criminal cases overall?
Probably not in that case.
Okay. All right. Now we've talked about this a lot already, but I'm going to just ask the question again. You'll be hearing evidence regarding a wide variety of crimes during your service as grand jurors. For instance, DUIs, robberies, homicides, sexual assault, child molestation, and others. Does anyone feel that it would be too upsetting to hear instructions on what the law is in a specific area or specific evidence of particular types of crime, and for that reason could not sit as a grand juror? And we've kind of gone over that, but anybody think they would have an issue hearing the presentation of the facts of criminal cases? Okay. Is there any member of the panel who, for philosophical, moral, or religious reasons, feels that they cannot pass judgment on whether there is probable cause to believe a particular person has committed a criminal offense? Is there anyone on the panel who, for any reason, whether it is something that has been discussed or otherwise, could not sit as a member of the grand jury and render a decision fairly and impartially to both the state and the accused? Please understand that your service will be for 2 days per week and that your employer is not required to compensate you, although you will receive the statutory $12 per day plus 44.5 cents per mile. Knowing how long the grand jury service is and the approximate times and dates, is there any reason other than an emergency why you cannot be in attendance for a grand jury all the time for a reason we have not already discussed? So this is kind of a catch-all. Yes. Okay, so the last catch-all question that I have is, we've gone through a lot of questions and we've heard from a lot of folks, and sometimes sitting there, you don't think of something at the beginning, but after someone else says something, it triggers a thought in your mind. So this would be the time, we're getting to the end here, for you to tell me whether there's any reason why you don't think you could be a fair and impartial grand juror. Yes, Ms. Robinson. Sure. Okay. Again, as to my catch-all question at the end here, anything else do you think that we need to know about your ability to serve? All right, Mr. Mosher, does the state pass the panel for cause?
I do have one question, Your Honor.
Okay, go ahead.
This hopefully doesn't throw a wrench into anything. So one of the things that many of the things we're going to ask you to do at the grand jury is to review documents. We provide you documents every day. There might be screens like monitors and then big projector screens that we ask you to view. Does any of the grand jurors have vision problems that they can't look at screens, or some of them are pretty big when there's like a PowerPoint presentation or a movie we're going to play, but there will be laptops, monitors, those kinds of things available to you. Anyone have any vision problems which would not able them to take a look at those kinds of screens? Okay, that's it, and I pass the panel, Your Honor.
Okay. All right, so we picked our jury. So what we're going to do now is excuse the folks in the back who didn't get selected. Thank you all for your participation and your attention. Thank you for being here, and you're excused.
As you guys know, I'm going to want your jury number and your badge. Thank you. You too, man. You're done. Thanks for coming in. You're welcome. Thanks very much. No, no worries at all. You take good care. All right. Thank you, sir. Thank you, Jen.
Aye.
Thank you. Just push up, tell him to push out.
Okay, those of you who can, please stand and be so the clerk can swear you in.
Do you and each of you swear or affirm that you will give careful attention to the proceedings, abide by the court's instructions, and decide matters placed before the grand jury in accordance with the law and evidence presented to you, so help you God, or under the pain and penalties of perjury?
All right, y'all have a seat. So, school is just starting, and as it started in a lot of districts, and I've always think that jury service is a lot like the first day of school, or make everyone line up. And as adults, we don't do that very often. You all have to line up in order and then and be seated, and you have to stand up and sit down a lot. So we've gotten through that part. So we'll later designate grand jurors as alternate county grand jurors who will serve if a member of the grand jury is excused and upon appointment by the court. The oath which you just took officially makes you the 344th grand jury. and alternate grand jurors. Administration of the grand jury is a function of the court. You are part of the judicial branch of government and responsible to the court for your actions. The law provides that I shall inform you as grand jurors of your duties as follows. 1. To be present at each session of the grand jury. If you cannot be present, it is your responsibility to call the jury commissioner's office in advance and advise them of the reason for your absence so your request can be considered. A representative of that office will give you a number you can call at the end of these proceedings. 2. To investigate every offense presented pursuant to law. 3. To disqualify or excuse yourself in any particular matter for any of the following reasons. If you are or expect to be a witness in that matter, if you are interested in that matter under investigation, and interested in that means if it's a family member who's being charged, or if there's a witness or a victim that you know, or if you're a victim yourself, obviously, we would want to know that. If you are related by blood or marriage within the 4th degree to any of the parties and the proceedings, and if you are biased or prejudiced in favor or against the state or the person under investigation in any matter. If one of these reasons for disqualification arises, immediately disqualify or excuse yourself from that particular investigation. Example might be you're hearing cases and all of a sudden you find out that your neighbor is involved in that case for some reason. You'd want to raise your hand and excuse yourself. It is essential that you act fairly, impartially, and without prejudice in connection with all matters considered by the grand jury. 4. It is your duty to return an indictment if and only if you are convinced that there is probable cause to believe that an offense over which the grand jury has jurisdiction has been committed and the person under investigation has committed it. Probable cause means reasonable belief. 5. It is your right to request presentation of additional witnesses and evidence by the prosecutor. It is your duty to keep all grand jury matters secret. There are penalties for wrongful disclosure. And again, grand jury proceedings are secret, and that's to protect the accused and the witnesses, and so you're not allowed to reveal any information that you learn as grand jurors. It is your duty, 6, it is your duty to inquire diligently into every offense presented to you by the prosecutor. An indictment is a written statement charging the commission of a public offense presented to the court by the grand jury. For an indictment to be returned, at least 9 members of the grand jury must agree. If 9 or more of you determine that there is probable cause to support an indictment, it must be endorsed as a true bill. That means it must be signed by the foreperson, or in the absence of the foreperson, by the acting foreperson. Indictments are returned to a judge in court in the presence of the grand jury and the prosecutor. So the way it works is you hear the case and then you vote, and if you return a true bill, it'll be stamped a true bill and the prosecutor will sign it, and then you'll hand it up to whoever the judge is covering the grand jury for that day. Indictments are returned to a judge in court in the presence of the grand jury and prosecutor. The county grand jury room, where you will be spending most of your time, is located on the 16th floor of the Legal Services Building, 32 North Stone. No one other than the witness under examination, counsel for the witness, if the witness is a person under investigation, authorized prosecutors, the reporter, that is the court reporter, and the interpreter, if any, shall be present during sessions of the grand jury. Only members of the grand jury may be present while the grand jury is deliberating and voting. So after the case is presented to you, you will be in there alone without anybody else, and you'll deliberate and vote on whether to return a true bill for that case. Grand jurors are under no duty to hear evidence at the request of a person under investigation, but may do so. A person under investigation has a right to the assistance of counsel while testifying. The attorney shall not communicate to anyone other than the client. If the lawyer does not comply with this rule, the foreperson shall expel the lawyer from the grand jury chamber. A person under investigation may appear before the grand jury on a written request. Such person shall be advised of the right to remain silent, of the right to have the assistance of counsel while testifying. In your work as grand jurors, you should weigh all the evidence you receive. When you have reasonable grounds to believe that other evidence is available which may explain away the charges, you may require that evidence be provided. You can question witnesses who appear before the grand jury, and you should not hesitate to do so. A deputy county attorney will attend the grand jury at your request to examine witnesses in your presence and give you legal advice. The deputy county attorney at your request shall draft indictments and cause subpoenas to issue for witnesses to appear and testify. No grand juror shall vote on any matter on which evidence has been taken in his or her absence. To vote on a case, you must hear all the evidence presented on that case. A judge will be available to advise you at your request. However, the deputy county attorney will likely be able to answer most inquiries about your duties. To guard against any claim of grand jury tampering, adverse influence, or improper conduct, all proceedings must be recorded by a court reporter. Do not discuss any case with anyone, not even the deputy county attorney, except when you are in the grand jury room on the record with a court reporter. You can exchange pleasantries with the lawyers when you first see them in the morning. Just be sure that the court reporter is present for everything said thereafter. If you wish to go off the record during a pause in the proceedings, the foreperson should state on the record that you are doing so. And when you resume on the record, the foreperson should state that nothing was discussed relating to any case or the law while off the record. Absolute secrecy concerning all proceedings of the grand jury is required by your oath and by the law. It is a crime to disclose anything regarding a grand jury proceeding at any time, even after your service ends, except in proper discharge of official duties. There are many reasons for secrecy. It protects grand jurors from pressure from persons under investigation. It prevents escape before indictment. It prevents witnesses from being injured or intimidated before they testify. It encourages witnesses to give the grand jury information, and it saves an innocent person from a stigma associated with being investigated by the grand jury. Do not communicate what happens in grand jury proceedings to anyone, not even members of your family. The only time you may do so is on the order of this court. It is a crime to disclose the fact that an indictment, information, or complaint has been found before the accused person is in custody or has been served with a summons. Do not read, watch, or listen to media reports regarding matters under investigation by the grand jury. Any decision by the grand jury on whether or not to return an indictment must be solely based on the evidence presented to the grand jury. Immediately report to the court contact from any unauthorized person about your grand jury work and any incident that exposes you to information about a matter under investigation by the grand jury. The foreperson must swear the court reporter not to disclose any testimony or the names of any witnesses except to the deputy county attorney or other prosecuting officer when testifying in court. The foreperson shall administer an oath or affirmation to all witnesses called to testify. The grand jury shall appoint one of the grand jurors as clerk to keep the minutes. The deputy county attorney will advise the clerk about the minutes. The deputy county attorney will also provide the foreperson with all oaths and forms. The foreperson may request the court initiate contempt against any person for conduct that violates these rules or disrupts the grand jury proceedings. The law requires me to appoint a foreperson to preside over the grand jury proceedings and to act as a court's representative. After you've concluded your orientation period, you will have the opportunity to nominate a foreperson from amongst yourselves as well as an acting foreperson. These names will be forwarded to me for appointment. The foreperson should ensure that there is a 15-minute recess each morning and each afternoon, regardless of the estimated length of the workday. The time for recesses shall be determined by the foreperson. Adjournment will be generally no later than 5 p.m. No books, newspapers, pamphlets, magazines, files, or other materials unrelated to grand jury proceedings may be read or used at any time while the grand jury is hearing or deliberating on cases. All right, Mr. Mosher, do you have any corrections or additions to those instructions?
No, Your Honor.
Ladies and gentlemen, your orientation will begin at the conclusion of this impanelment process under the direction of the Deputy County Attorney. Congratulations again on being selected to members of the 344th Pima County Grand Jury. Past grand jurors have found this experience rewarding. As I explained earlier, it's a very interesting process. You get to hear a lot about a lot of cases and all the work that goes into those cases, so it's generally a very interesting experience. I hope that you will find that experience rewarding. If you have any questions concerning mileage, travel, or how you get paid, please check with the Jury Commissioner's office to discuss the matter. Thank you again for your service. I'll now turn over the proceedings to the Deputy County Attorney for information on your schedule and location for the rest of the day. Okay, we stay on the record, or we go off the record now?
We are going to go off the record.
Okay. This is a public service.
We're out here
This is
today
a public
to
service.
ensure our natural rights are respected by those who swore an oath to support, protect, and defend the rights of the people. The purpose of all interactions is to peacefully promote government accountability and transparency. Please like, share, and subscribe so this message can reach as many people as possible. I implore you to peacefully seek redress to any and all of your grievances. This is a public service.